Randeep, welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. One thing I want to tell you is, having had the opportunity to be able to see the movie, seeing you in real life, I didn't realize that you were such a hottie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's
I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know what I look like in it.
Okay. No, you look fabulous. You look exactly like what you're supposed to look like. The charismatic guy that's the helm of this incredible vision that we don't usually get of gang warfare. Because usually it's, like the chains and just the chilled out clothing.
I was expecting that, actually.
Were
I was
you?
expecting that, and I got quite a bit of a shock when they brought out our wardrobe and made us try it. And I said, well, hey, I'm not feeling very tough with these short pants and tight-fitted suits and stuff. Like, I tried to convince Deepa otherwise, but she was pretty sure. And now, in hindsight, I think that's the best decision that she made. It really made us stand out. And it's a part of the movie that if you really want to be seen, you've got to commit to being seen.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really what our style quotient in the movie is. And, I used to wear those suits and walk around Toronto, going for movies and stuff just to get used to it.
Yes.
So that, you don't pay attention to that part of it. So I used to get some looks, but usually people would say, hey, nice suit, man.
Yes.
So it was good.
But the interesting thing that I found about just the deliberacy of the way that you guys were all styled is the fact that there was such a strong cultural element also a part of this, fashion forward look that was created. I mean, we still saw the puggarees, we still saw that whole element of
the kadas and,
which was incredible. Talk to me about why you decided to take this role, other than working with the fabulous Deepa Mehta.
Well, this was the fourth script that I was offered on the same stories, from Vancouver. And I felt very drawn to it right from the beginning. But the best part about it was that it was an opportunity to do a North American film where we as Southeast Asians, we are not depicted as geeks and computer nerds and taxi drivers and 7-Eleven clerks and stuff like that. So here was an opportunity. Like I remember having a chat with Deepa that, if there's an Oriental guy, you don't go pick on them right away because, you've seen Bruce Lee movies. What if they know Kung Fu and kick your ass? So I said, here is an opportunity to give, the brown community here a bit of, some sort of levity. And India is a very diverse races and cultures in itself.
Yes.
And the North Indians, like the Jats and the Jatsiks, they have a certain more, aggressive outlook towards life and are physically a bit more, tougher. So I thought that this would be a great opportunity to do it.
And you did an excellent job. And what was really wonderful about your particular role, was that other than being like incredibly charismatic, and you did an incredible job, and now I know why Deepa picked you, the role of Jeet was so indicative to every single other component and person that was surrounding kind of the storytelling that Deepa wanted to tell. You were involved with every aspect on some capacity with every character in the movie.
Right. It's like the relationship with my mom is really sweet.
Yes.
And that's what, a lot of European countries, especially Southern European countries, and Indians it's a big part of our thing, living with our parents, or, it's more to do with looking after them when they're older, and the relationship I share with my son.
Yes.
And that whole thing about having a blonde girlfriend for so it was all very, very well woven, and that's why I chose this script over the other three, because the other three was just gang banging, being too cool for school, wannabe Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Whereas this had more character and more depth to it, an emotional quotient. And also it communicates to the young people watching that crime doesn't pay. The community, which is the Sikh community in Vancouver, is really plagued by this. There used to be a time when no young man made it to 30, they all died 20-something. So this is, I think, Deepa's wonderful contribution towards pointing out the problems, making an entertaining film, and, and still keeping the culture and the fact that Canada is multicultural intact in it. So it's very interesting.
what message do you feel is important for people to get out of this movie? I mean, of course, there is kind of a perspective that, you know, there is a sensationalism associated with just how tremendously charismatic the Beeba Boys are, right? So on one side, that, you know, there is this thought process that, you know, will this, you know, make people feel the glamour side of it as opposed to, you know, the real problem that Deepa's really talking about here? I mean, what are your feelings on that?
See, the best part about this is that, you know, you cannot really make a message film. I think that's futile and it always fails to deliver. I think a great part of this movie is that it's entertaining and engaging, and at the same time, in a very subtle way, you do get the message. So, in your face, the message is the crime doesn't pay, of course. And if any of these boys really put their head into something else, they would have done well in that as well.
Yes.
So it's just misguided ambition and aspirations, which we deal with through Jeet's character towards the end. I don't want to talk about that, but that's the message that comes across. But it doesn't come across in your face, which is the best part. You know, at the end of the day, it's a movie, it's entertainment. And with that entertainment, once you got people hooked, you can deliver a message, and that's what I think Deepa has managed very well.
Absolutely. And from my perspective, when I saw the movie, I felt that, you know, Jeet did win. He won, not, you know, so much as, you know, just the crumbling empire that you saw towards the end, but the decision that he made to want to be Optimus Prime for his son. I mean, he made a fundamental decision right at the end of the movie that showed that he actually was the victor. He did win as a human being.
I think somewhere he did realize that what is an example I'm setting for my son and generations to come. And I think that's a very gutsy decision he took. And that's what makes him more larger than life and more lovable, I think.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Let's start first with the relationship between the mother-son quotient. The interesting thing that I found about, you know, that was that the mother always, and this is something Deepa mentioned to me when I chatted with her, the mother always feels her son is a Beeba boy, right?
Right.
Like my, you know, Mira Munda Beeba.
Every mother feels that.
Yes.
But I think in this movie she was very well aware of how it's going to end up.
Yeah.
And that's the tragic part of it. But being a mom, she cannot not love her son.
Yeah.
Although they're Beeba Mundas, but they're all grown up and, you know.
They've made a decision.
Yeah, they've made a decision.
As to how they want to live their life.
And she's somewhere in denial of it I mean, while interacting with other people from the community, but she knows. And I think that's what is. But that's what the problem is, that parents know and are helpless.
Right.
They can't do much about it because the kids have chosen a path.
Right.
So I think that's a very, you know, poignant relationship in the movie. I think the most poignant relationship in the movie is between me and my mom.
Yeah. I also love the relationship between you and your father, because he's still kind of stuck in that, you know, just kind of the effects of his historical life, right? Like he can't get the stench out, you know, and stuff like that.
Right.
And just there seems to be kind of a really interesting dynamic between your character and his father. How would you, you know, talk about that relationship? Because I found that to be really, really, it's almost like it was strained, but it wasn't.
See, it is strained in the movie because Jeet does not realize or does not pay attention to the fact that why his father was the way he was. What kind of frustrations did he face coming out to a foreign country, a blue-collar migrant worker with minimum wages, and the kind of dirty and physical work he had to do for his son to have a better life, till a point where he starts seeing that his own son, like the grandson, is now going another way, and that's an example that Jeet is setting for him. So this father, son to grandson kind of what is being passed on is it's a way of life in every culture. You know, it's a big part of our families and our lives, and we are very highly influenced by it, even if we don't like it. So at some point in the movie, Jeet does realize that, hey, being a grown-up now, that his dad had a tough life, and now and there is a reason why the way he was, and he asks him in the movie, and when he hears it, he really feels that, oh my God, this man has suffered a lot, and he might have been an alcoholic and an abusive father and a husband, but there is a reason behind it, and I think that's a big part of Jeet growing up and taking the decisions he took.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fascinated by the relationship between Jeet and Nep. Tell me about your insight on that. What do you think the attraction was for Jeet? I mean, he had these incredible, eclectic, loyal followers in the 5 that made up his gang.
But they were not independently thinking people. They did not have independent thought. They were too dependent on Jeet, and they were very impulsive. So here he sees a guy who's got an independent thought, and who's as gutsy as he was as a younger guy, and he sees that this guy has got something about him which makes him a leader of sorts. So I think Jeet kind of takes him under his wing. Mainly, according to me, was so that it's not someone that he is against him, but is for him. So that's a big decision. And then he kind of, he gives him the most personal things to do, like looking after his family. He doesn't give him necessarily things to go out and bang people or any, set things right. For that, he's got other guys. But he needed somebody very trustworthy, somebody who is not so colored by Jeet himself.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So this is your first foray into doing a movie here in North America. Are we going to see
Yes.
more of you?
I hope so. I hope I can make an impression. Here it works more about casting directors and stuff like that,
That's
which is
exactly
a very new
right.
phenomenon back home.
Yeah.
I hope I'm able, through this movie, woo enough people or audience so that I get more and more opportunities to work here. I liked it, though it's a bit more regimented and impersonal than what we have back home. But I think
It's a new experience, right?
I think the desire of every artist deep down inside is to reach out to as many people as possible. And
Absolutely.
now that I have got a certain reach back home in India, I would like to expand my horizons and have people, in North America to work here and have an audience here.
Can I tell you, I want to share one thing with you before we close out on the interview, and that is you have this persona about you that reminds me of the young Clint Eastwood.
Really?
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Is he? You're kidding me, because you've got that aura and that dynamicism about you. And
Well, thank you so much. That's the hugest compliment I have received so far.
I'm so pleased that I was able to share that with you, because I'm sitting here and I'm chatting with you and I'm feeling like, who does this charismatic man remind me of?
Wow, that's
and
really
I totally
good.
had the hots for Clint Eastwood when I
I
was
love
growing
Clint.
up. So I think it's about time that North America experiences the South Asian Clint Eastwood. So I hope that you're going to have a lot more opportunities in the West. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
The
From your heart to God's ears.
Absolutely, absolutely, because really this is the time for our community to really rise, because it has been over TV and movies and music and a lot of other genres, fashion and everything. And we're really getting our own legitimization in mainstream pop culture, which
we
I
are
feel
getting
is
integrated a bit more.
yeah.
And I think that's a very good thing, and I think I'm very lucky to be a part of movies at this stage,
Yes.
vis-a-vis, let's say, 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
And I hope I can bridge that gap and be the Clint Eastwood of our community and kick some ass here.
Absolutely. Well, you're definitely Clint Eastwood for me. Thank you, my sweetie.
Thank you so
really,
much.
really enjoyed my time with you.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
look forward to the next time we get the opportunity to chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay.
for having me on your show.